So I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. I don't know what it's like to raise kids. But I imagine one of my concerns as a parent would be, how do I keep my kids active, healthy, and not just sitting in front of a computer screen all the time? So this is my story of how my parents kept me active. So this goes all the way back to when I was in 4th grade. First of all, background. My parents have always been really active. My mom was running marathons when I was a kid. My dad started doing triathlons in the late 90s. My mom started doing triathlons right after him. My parents own a company now that coaches runners and triathletes. So always a very active family. And so when I was a kid, I was a total nerd, super nerd. I mean, I still am. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And I was really into Star Wars, and I was really into Star Wars video games. And I remember getting my first one. It was Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Was my first video game on my parents' PC. I started spending a lot of time sitting there. And so my parents, as concerned parents who want me to stay active and healthy, decided to come up with a scheme to keep me active. And this, I hated them for it at the time. But now I look back and I'm like, this is genius. It's something that I will most likely do with my kids, and it's just brilliant. So as runners, my mom, ran marathons. Running was always kind of like the really accessible sport in my family. I remember doing some like 1 mile fun runs with my siblings. When my mom would go do her 5Ks, we'd go and do the 1 mile fun run. And so my parents decided to enact a executive order, which essentially entailed, for every mile I ran, I earned an hour of video games. So they always said, if you need shoes, we'll buy you shoes. Like, my dad measured out a 1 mile loop in our neighborhood, and that was the rule. So if I wanted to play video games, I had to run my mile. So starting in 4th grade and going all the way up into 6th grade, for almost every single morning, I was getting up in the morning to go run my mile. Even here in Arizona with the heat. And I would wake up, go run my mile, go to school, come home from school, 1 hour, egg timer, front of the computer, 1 hour of video games. I mean, sure, there were moments where I hated the rule and I didn't want to do it, but I did it. And I still remember the first time that it was a Saturday, and I was so upset that I had to go run. I didn't want to. I just wanted to play my video games. And so I remember walking into their bedroom and saying, like, out of spite, I thought I was spiting them. I thought I was, like, sticking it to them. I said, I'm going to go run 2 miles so I get 2 hours of video games, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I, like, slammed the door, and I walked out the door, and I ran 2 miles. And I remember feeling like I was running a freaking marathon. Like, I was, like, running. And I remember when I started my 2nd mile, I was so tired, and I like ran by some sprinklers, and I went into sprinklers to cool off, and I was like, this is stupid, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I gotta do it for the 2 miles. And I finished my 2 miles, and I walked back into the house, went straight into their bedroom again, and I said, I just ran 2 miles, that means I get 2 hours, and I slammed the door again. I didn't even shower, I was all sweaty and gross. I just went and sat in front of the computer for 2 hours and played video games. And I thought I was like this victorious kid, but I just fell right into their game. And they were like, I'm sure as soon as I slammed the door, they just kind of looked at each other and said, cool, you ran 2 miles. But it stuck with me. And from then on, whenever I wanted to get into shape, whenever I wanted to lose weight, whenever I wanted to do anything active, like the automatic, like just the thing I fall back on, the thing that I always ended up doing was running. They always, if I needed running shoes, let's go get you some running shoes. Like, that was the most accessible thing. And now, if you know anything about me, I can't get enough of it. I mean, 2 of these, actually I have 3, but one of them isn't here. They're 50-mile ultra trail run belt buckles. There's a 50K, one of the numbers for my 50-miler, marathons, Ironmans, like half marathon, half marathon, half marathon. There's an ultra in here somewhere. Obviously, I can't get enough of it. So they instilled that in me, and I'm actually really thankful for that rule of, for every mile you run, you get an hour of video games. Granted, as I got older and the distances started getting easier, that rule kind of fell off the wayside. And then I think it was in 8th grade when I bought my first computer. And then I had it in my room, and then it just, as I got older, the rule kind of became irrelevant. But it definitely had a huge impact on my life. So just a story I want to tell you. This is something I want to start doing every Friday. It's just like a quick story about something related to endurance sports, something related to travel, something related to the things that I am passionate about. And so I thought this was a good way to start, because this rule, it's just something that totally stuck with me, and I love it. So that's it for me, guys. If you liked the video, if you thought it was a cool story, share it with somebody who might appreciate it. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not already. I'm trying to grow that audience, and I would love to have you be part of the group. And yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this every Friday. A little bit of story time Friday to get you going for the weekend. And that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Don't forget to check out my vlog that I post. I try to do like 2 or 3 of those a week. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.